Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Maller Grotner Plummer Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Maller Grotner Plummer Attorneys, understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis, on the web at lawngp.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. Smithville, fiber internet, security solutions, and voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger and Robertson, attorneys at law since 1949, utilizing experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. Indiana legislators are voting on a new map of the state's U.S. House of Representative districts. It splits Marion County into 4 mostly rural districts.
Do you want to get to know your constituents, regardless of whether they voted for you or not? That's hard when you stretch these districts as far as we're stretching them now.
It easily passed in the House, but could face trouble in the Senate next week. The Pride Center of Terre, Haute is suing Indiana State University after the university cut funding for its 4 student employees.
I would say the first word that comes to mind is disaffiliated. Indiana State University has kind of separated themselves from Spectrum and from the LGBTQIA+ community.
The university says it's following guidance from the federal government. Indiana football fans are gearing up for the Hoosiers' first appearance in the Big Ten championship game. We'll have these stories and more right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. The Indiana House voted 57-41 today on a new district map meant to give Republicans all 9 of the state seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's part of a national push by President Trump urging Republican-led states to redraw their maps before next year's elections in an effort to retain control in the U.S. House. Democrats decry the new map, which would see stronghold Indianapolis split into 4 heavily rural districts. That, they say, is racial gerrymandering. Indiana senators will begin debating the new map Monday. It faces an uphill battle there, as Senate leaders have said they don't have the votes. The bill that reopened the federal government last month has closed a legal loophole allowing the sale of intoxicating hemp products. And as Eddie Stewart reports, it's a billion-dollar industry in Indiana.
The new regulations would limit the THC in hemp products to 0.4 milligrams per container, below even the trace amounts found in many CBD products. Those are used medicinally and not meant to get people high. Scott Neruzzi owns a hemp business in Bloomington. He says the threat to his business could be significant. Even many of the non-intoxicating products he sells will be illegal under the new regulation.
Even CBD products at this point are all going to be outside of the limitations that the new bill is putting in place, because they're putting a really low ceiling about how much THC can be present.
Brian Nixon, a farmer who grows, processes, and sells hemp extracts, is less worried. None of his products are intoxicating, and while some contain trace levels of THC left over from processing, he thinks he'll be able to remediate products down to legal levels of THC. He favors the new law and describes the production of intoxicating products from hemp as something he disliked.
It was something that we frowned upon. We did not get into that realm. We did not sell our biomass to people that were going to do that. It was just a side of things that we didn't really believe in as a company.
Marguerite Bolt is Purdue's hemp extension specialist. Her department works with farmers across the state who grow hemp for grain, fiber, and to be processed into non-intoxicating extracts. She says that the limit of the 0.4 milligram figure appears arbitrary and doesn't appear to be based on existing scientific research for hemp.
I don't know what that comes from. I don't know who came up with it. If this was like Mitch McConnell came up with that value, if he consulted with somebody, it's unclear to me.
Bolt also said that a ban could hurt Hoosiers farming a legal crop and has the possibility of pushing buyers into the black market.
I don't see how this is going to necessarily help prevent people from getting these products. It's just going to hurt the legitimate businesses that are doing everything right.
One thing that Bolt, Neruzzi, and Nixon all agree on is that more regulation is needed for hemp. Nixon said he wants common sense guidelines for the industry.
We want to make quality products, high quality products that are safe to use and have health benefits. And to do that, there's nothing wrong with having some parameters, some guidelines and some rules, regulations, some standards that you have to hit. And right now, there are none of those things.
Neruzzi said that despite his fears for his business, he understands why the new regulations are taking effect.
I have mixed feelings because at the same time, the loophole was not exactly legal. It was an interpretation that was taken advantage of, and it's almost like we got it back.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Eddie Stewart.
The new THC regulations go into effect next November. Experts say consumers should expect to spend more this year on toys and holiday decor because of tariffs. Our Isabella Vesperini visited a local toy store to see how they're faring with the increased costs.
When Kat Bruce heard that tariffs would be implemented on products from all over the world, she started panic buying toys for her store, Mersey Dote's toy store.
Right before the tariffs got implemented, everybody was scrambling to get as much inventory as we could afford and hold on to before all the prices started changing.
About 80% of the toys she sells are manufactured in China, which faced tariff rates as high as 145% earlier this year. Even though manufacturers have absorbed some of the costs, consumers will still be paying 10 to 20% more for most toys.
The prices have only been, noticeable to the average consumer, now, which we were all kind of trying to warn people, if, this Christmas is going to be a different, buying experience. And if you're very budget conscientious, then you should have started buying before the summer, which nobody does that, but.
Prue said her profit will be lower than previous years. When considering which products to sell at a lower price, she thinks about how much she would spend on it.
No matter what your budget is, you can find something that your kid's gonna have fun with. There's still gonna be the $100+ wow toys, right? But there's also gonna be plenty of sub $20 toys that will be fun to open.
While she can't change the price of name brand products, such as Fat Brain toys and Shishibos, she's willing to lower the price on smaller impulse buys.
The silly little things that kids spend their allowance on, that's where you get a little bit more wiggle room. The quality toys and whatnot, they typically are the ones that have those, you have to sell it at X price because this is our brand and this is good quality. Whereas, a squishy, you can, you can adjust that to make sure the kids can still spend their pocket change.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Isabella Vesperini.
Despite higher prices, the National Retail Federation predicts sales this holiday season will increase nearly 4% over last year. Well, we're joined now by Shelby Brown for more headlines from around the state. Hi, Shelby.
Hi, Joe. The county will begin clearing out unhoused encampments on the old Thompson property off South Rogers Street beginning Monday. Clearing notice papers were placed on poles and individually handed out this week at the site. The county says notices were put up due to storage of personal property, trash, and overnight camping. But the executive director of Beacon, an organization serving the unhoused, says this doesn't address the core problems.
We just move one more camp and one more person, human being, out of the place that they find warmth and find a place to sleep and a place to survive.
The county says personal property found at the location will either be taken to the Monroe County Highway garage or disposed of immediately if deemed as trash or harmful. Bloomington's Board of Public Works has awarded a nearly $500,000 contract to E&B Paving to fix tripping hazards in the brick sidewalks of Kirkwood Avenue. The project will involve replacing the base under the brick to ensure long-term stability of the sidewalk. The city says the biggest problem is tree roots getting under the bricks and dislodging them.
In a lot of places in the repairs, we're going to have to go all the way down to the subgrade and address the tree roots problem and build back up from there.
The work is scheduled to begin in May after IU's graduation and be completed by July. Employees of the Starbucks on Indiana Avenue are participating in a nationwide strike over pay and working conditions. Last Friday, baristas at the store joined the strike, which began November 13th. The Starbucks Workers Union hopes to negotiate a contract with the company for better working conditions and job security.
I get paid around $16 per hour, and I usually work around 30 hours per week. I still don't make enough. Living in Bloomington is very expensive. I can't afford to pay rent and food or get my medication.
Baristas have been standing outside the store with signs, chanting and encouraging people not to buy coffee. Indiana University and Eli Lilly have signed a 5-year, $40 million partnership to expand clinical trials. The agreement will combine IU's research with Lilly pharmaceutical and manufacturing expertise and remove barriers to clinical trials. Researchers will focus on Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, cancer, and cell and gene therapy.
By harnessing the power of AI and IU's statewide reach, we can identify candidates for clinical trials far more quickly and ultimately deliver promising treatments to patients faster.
Witten says this agreement is also a way to prepare talent for drug development and clinical research. Workers are preparing the Columbus Riverbank and revitalization and repair. Joe Wren has more on the project that has been years in the making.
The East Fork of the White River runs alongside the western edge of downtown. Workers are removing trees for erosion control.
We've spent many, many years talking about how difficult it was to get permitting. I applaud the governor's office for helping us kind of get through that a second time as we made some modifications to the riverfront to make it cheaper and quicker.
The $12 million project focuses on safety. Work includes removing a low-head dam, stabilizing the bank, and connecting the riverfront trail. Verdon says some river amenities were dropped because of cost.
We're going to be able to add back some amenities that are going to make it beautiful and fun, and I think people will be pleased a year from now. But it's been a long haul.
She says the trees will be replaced with a non-invasive species to support the riverfront. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Joe Wren.
If you've been anywhere near the Musical Arts Center on the IU Bloomington campus this fall, you might have noticed a giant tent surrounded by scaffolding covering the big red sculpture. This 40-foot abstract sculpture called Peau Rouge is made entirely of steel.
It came to IU in 1971. It kind of was coming in partnership with the construction of the MAC, the Musical Arts Center. So that construction was completed in 1972, and it was Alexander Calder's last site-specific commission of his life.
Crews sandblasted the sculpture down to bare metal and repaired the damaged areas. It received the final top coats of Calder Red last week. IU's football team has a chance for the school's biggest victory in decades when the Hoosiers and Ohio State play Saturday night in the Big Ten Football Championship. And Alexandra Holm reports that means excitement and ticket prices are high.
IU freshman Lily March recalls going to IU football games as a young child. It was much different than this year's undefeated regular season. Number 2, nationally ranking, and the highly anticipated matchup against number 1 Ohio State on Saturday.
It's pretty exciting, especially my sister went here a while ago, and the football was nothing like how it is now, and it's definitely more hype, and I feel like it brings all of us, it makes us happy on campus. It makes our campus feel more uplifting.
March is attending Saturday's game at Lucas Oil Stadium with some visitors.
I'm from New Jersey, so I live really far. So I was to my dad and my sister, I wish we could go, that'd be so fun. And then my dad was let's just go.
And it won't be cheap. Online ticket reseller StubHub said in a statement to WTIU News that there is, quote, an exceptionally strong demand driven in large part by Indiana's historic appearance. The cheapest asking price on StubHub for even a single ticket to the Big Ten Championship is well over $600. Going into the season, IU had the most losses all time among major college football teams.
Like Coach Sig has, preached, this is the new Indiana. These are the games you want to play, and this is why you come to Indiana. You come to play the best of the best. You come to play in the championship games, and this is just the beginning.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Alexandra Holm.
Saturday night's game kicks off at 8 o'clock on Fox. The winner will earn the top seed in the college football playoffs. And Joe, those pairing will be announced on Sunday.
All right, thanks. Exciting times. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. The Pride Center of Terre Haute is suing Indiana State University after it cut funding for its student employees. And a drive-through holiday light show is open through the end of the month at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
It's time to go to work. It's the defining event of our history.
This is the story of modern war and how it's changing us.
We've opened the secrets of the universe.
We can do remarkable things together.
We have never wasted our time together.
Be not afraid of greatness!
Mission accomplished.
It's extraordinarily important that there is hard news, investigative journalism taking place in local communities, which are my community, as well as positive stories highlighting the important things that are happening in the local community. I don't think these stories get told anymore without public media, and I think that is an invaluable service that it provides. Support programs for the public good by becoming a WTIU sustainer today.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The American Civil Liberties Union of Indiana is representing the Pride Center of Terre Haute again this year. They're suing Indiana State University over funding for student workers. As Aubrey Wright reports, while the university says it's following the federal government's lead, the ACLU says it's violating the students' First Amendment rights.
Alora Hodgins says she wouldn't trade her job for the world.
Pride Center of Terre Haute, this is Alora. How can I help you?
She's the volunteer coordinator and staff lead at the Pride Center of Terre Haute. And when she's not working, she's earning a social work degree at Indiana State University.
As a social work student, that's crucial to me because I've been able to develop so many of those skills, and it's also crucial to the community.
It's difficult to list all of the resources and programs that the Pride Center offers. There are social events, gender-affirming programs, hygiene resources, and mental health care, to name a few. The center staff say it's open to anyone.
It's not just a service space, it's also a community center. And in a time when we're lacking so much community, it is so important. I can't say that enough.
Hodgins says ISU students help keep the nonprofit center running smoothly. But that once tight connection between ISU and the center is fraying. In August, the university cut funding for 4 student employees. They had been funded through federal work study and Sycamore community work programs.
The best way I can put it is I've been disappointed with some of the decisions that have been made, not only as a worker here, because yes, I'm a worker here, but I am a student first.
ISU spokespeople did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Legal documents show ISU cut support because of the U.S. Department of Justice's guidance. The department told universities to avoid positions or programs that, quote, allocate benefits or roles based on protected characteristics, including sexual orientation or gender identity. It's part of the Trump administration's crackdown on diversity, equity, and inclusion that categorizes those programs as unlawful discrimination. But the ACLU says that kind of federal advice isn't legally binding.
It's not law, it's guidance. It's not even mandatory necessarily to comply with.
The ACLU is representing the Pride Center in a lawsuit against ISU, alleging a First Amendment violation. Its lawyers say the university's decision to cut funding isn't really about discrimination. It's actually about the center's support and advocacy for the LGBTQ+ community.
The Pride Center does not discriminate on who it serves, nor does it discriminate on who it hires or approves for work study students.
This is the second time this year the ACLU and the Pride Center have sued ISU. The first was over the university's decision to break tradition and hold the annual Pride Festival off campus. Students are noticing changes too.
I would say the first word that comes to mind is disaffiliated. Indiana State University has kind of separated themselves from Spectrum and from the LGBTQIA+ community.
Spectrum used to partner with the admissions office during Pride Fest, but that didn't happen this year, and another annual conference is still up in the air. Plus, after the university eliminated its multicultural services and programs, they lost financial support.
We just want to continue to be a safe space for everyone, even if we have a rainbow flag attached to our logo.
As mentioned, community center, so we have resources. If you would like to use them, you can.
Back at the Pride Center, Board Secretary Ian Brawley says the staff would like to work with the university, but they're also going to stand their ground.
I don't think it says anything about just being litigious. I think it shows as well that we have a backbone and that we are trying to grow and that we aren't going to just kind of roll over.
Brawley could go on and on about the center's work and its partnerships, and he does.
Well, first of all, come to the center because it's fun.
He says everything offered, from therapy to karaoke to free toothpaste, is open to everyone.
As any community center would, our goal is to provide resources specifically to people who may be underserved.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Aubrey Wright.
The ACLU has asked a federal judge for a preliminary injunction that would force the university to fund those 4 student employees. A new exhibit at the Indiana University Collections at McCalla showcases a century of IU athletics history. As Pat Bean reports, visitors will have a chance to see Hoosier uniforms, gear, and trophies up close.
Called Outfitting IU Athletics Hoosier Champions, the exhibit chronicles Big Ten and national championships and individual accomplishments by Hoosier athletes. And over the past century, there's been a lot of those. McCalla was able to tap into the vast resources of IU Athletics sports memorabilia collection.
We were able to look through just all the different sports throughout numerous decades and just try to identify a nice breadth of objects that we could highlight.
Visitors will see Grace Berger's jersey from the IU women's basketball team's historic 2023 season, alongside Tom Abernethy's jersey from 1975 and the shoes worn by Steve Alford in the 1987 NCAA championship game. There's also a display highlighting Indiana's 1938 men's cross-country national championship team, kits from IU's national soccer championship teams, and a signed swimming cap worn by gold medalist Lily King at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio. Haggard's favorite piece is a bat used by Kyle Schwarber in the 2013 College World Series.
Big fan of both IU and the Cubs, and he's a great player, and he's obviously setting some records in the major leagues. So being able to see that bat and see all the scuffs on there where he was hitting balls is really cool.
There's also an exhibit featuring the football team that has helmets and uniforms from the past, including a jersey worn in last year's college football playoff game. Haggard is hoping the excitement swirling around this year's team helps lure visitors to the exhibit.
We have a football section where we talk about the 1945 and 1967 Big Ten champions. It'd be really cool if we're able to add something from this year's team.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
A drive-through holiday light show is open to the public at the fairgrounds in Indianapolis for the 7th straight year. Isabella Vesperini and videographer Jake Lindsay got a sneak peek.
Along a 2-mile loop, you'll drive through multiple light tunnels and see light displays, including candy, trees, and Santa.
We just installed 3 RGB lights trees this year, which is one of the new fixtures, as well as a flag. So it's a lot of things. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that comes through, but there is a lot for you to see.
The show features about 1 million lights set up over weeks.
Each one is simultaneously synchronized with particular experiences throughout the show, if you will, that is synchronized to music that you listen to as you drive through the show.
Lewis says around 800 cars come to the show every night.
It's an opportunity for families to have a great holiday tradition that is fun, safe, easy. They can get into their car, pack some snacks, have some hot chocolate, and take an easy 30 to 45 minute ride through an amazing light show.
The show runs until December 31st. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Isabella Vesperini.
That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Maller-Grotner Plummer Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Maller-Grotner Plummer Attorneys, understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. On the web at lawmgp.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. Smithville, fiber internet, security solutions, and voice in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger and Robertson, attorneys at law since 1949, utilizing experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.